for Arise IBOs. In 2023, I am Paris. You are watching Arise to the Top. If you enjoy our content, please do like and subscribe below. But I do want to get into talking about some banking tips, banks, and what to look for. I get this question all the time about what bank should you open up for your business. Now, this is not just for necessarily Arise IBOs. If you do staffing and stuff like that, pretty much call center and remote staffing business owners can use this. So let's get started. All right. Being a business owner, Arise IBOs, yes, but you guys know I have a business development firm where we work with an array of different industries. So I speak from experience as an IBO, yes, but also having done several other businesses in different industries. You should never just have one bank account. And I tell our clients all the time, at least four bank accounts. I know you're probably like, oh my gosh, four accounts, that's astronomical, but it's not. And I think that we saw during the time of COVID when PPP, EIDL, and all that stuff was happening, those who just had one bank account really suffered. So never put your eggs in one basket, never put all your money in one bank. Being a business owner, you'll want to make sure that you have not just multiple bank accounts within one branch. What I'm referencing is you having multiple branches that you do business with. Okay, you can't just rely on one particular bank or credit union to give you all of your needs. And honestly, they can't all provide everything that you need. So, my recommendation for you is to find one big bank, at least one credit union, and your third bank should be like a local bank. And sometimes your local bank and credit union can mix together, like you'll find a local credit union, but still do a big bank, a credit union, and then a local bank. All right, let's get into why. So, the four accounts that you'll need is at least one account for payroll processing. This is going to be your account where your Arise deposits will go in. You will pay your agents from that account. You will do nothing else in that account, okay? Payroll only. And that is because being a business owner, especially starting out, you may experience a few overdrafts here and there. You may have, hardships. You don't ever want to play with the money that you have to pay someone else. So if you keep a clean account that you know there won't be overdrafts, there won't be any of that, you can have that as your payroll account. The other reason is if you're doing like any kind of fintech loans, and I have other videos that give you like different loan companies where you can get small amounts of capital. Some of them give you large amounts. But now everyone's doing this whole Plaid connection. They want you to link your bank account. Gone or almost all the way gone are the days that you are sending in bank statements. Some do that, and bigger loan amounts may require that. But for the most part, a lot of the ones you see online, they're going to want you to link in. Well, they're looking for a few things. They're looking for your current account balance. They're looking to see how many overdrafts and fees you've had. They're looking for your overall daily balance. And they're looking to see, do you have consistent deposits when they're looking at those loan approvals? So if you have this one payroll account that all of your revenue is going into, then that will be the account as well that you connect to whatever funding opportunity you're trying to get, right? So long story short, one account needs to be your payroll. That account stays clean. You're not doing anything else in there. You're getting your deposits, paying out your agents. That's it. The next account you'll need is one for business bills and expenses. Now, my recommendation is you get a business credit card and have all of your bills and stuff put on that credit card, preferably one that has reward points, anything you like, from travel to hotel stays, cash back, shopping on Amazon, there's a credit card for it. So you can get a business credit card, have all of your expenses put there. It makes tax time easier too. And then out of that business bills and company expenses account, you can just pay that credit card bill. If for whatever reason you can't get a business credit card or you don't have one, then this account you'll use to pay any business bills, any expenses, whether that's your home office stuff or your regular office, your utilities, any programs that you're using to run your business, like if you have auto IBO, any pay services, if you're paying an accountant, any bills and expenses, your annual renewal fees, that should come out of that account, right? So that's two accounts, one for payroll, one for business bills and expenses. The next account should be for business expansions, investments, and improvements. So I have a completely separate account that I just put money in each, a certain percent of any deposits that I get goes into that account. Now, what that account is used for, and the next account we talk about is business savings. These are two different accounts. What that account is used for is future investments, improvements, and expansions that you might want to branch off into. If you have that nest egg built up, you can have some money already to do it without having to try to dip into your main business money. So when I wanted to jump into software development, I was taking funding from that account. When I wanted to do real estate investing within my company, that account was used for that. Um, when I wanted to save up for a course that I wanted to take, now technically that's a business expense, but saving up to get that, I did in that account. Any improvements that I needed to do in my company, I would save up through that account. So that account is for expansions, investments, improvements. That's your third account. You have payroll, you have bills and expenses. Now you have expansions, investments, and improvements. That last account is your business savings account. Now, that account is exactly what it sounds like. You're just going to be saving up in that account. You don't touch it. It's a rainy day savings for your business. All right. So, 3 banks you should look into: one big bank, one credit union, and a local bank. 4 accounts: one payroll, one bills and expenses account, one account for investments, improvements, expansions for your business, and a business savings account. Now, at any one of those branches that you have those accounts, don't forget to make sure you do have your personal account, because you'll need to pay yourself. You need to have that personal account as well. So really that's 5 accounts, but 4 for business. That personal account, though, to separate your business and personal, so that you're not swiping personal things from your business account. You can just pay yourself into your personal account. All right. So what you should do with those accounts, look, I've already just covered that, but we'll go over it briefly again. Payroll account, that first one, you're paying your agents from this account and getting revenue deposits from your clients here. And whether your client is Rise, whether it's ACD, whether I'm one of your clients, you're working with me on other projects, whether you have other clients, that stuff is going into that payroll account. Business bills and expenses, that is devoted to bills and expenses, makes tax time easier. As I stated before, I recommend getting a business credit card, because paying bills and expenses out of your regular account, you're not getting any points for that. So you have to pay this stuff anyway. You might as well get a business credit card and reap the rewards, so you can travel and do all these other things on your credit card. So that is that account. Your savings account is your rainy day account for your business. Something happens and you have to tap into that, it's there. And then your business expansions, investments, and improvement account is just that. You're going to slowly put money in there. And I know you're like, oh, that's 4 accounts. I only have $10. It's okay. You don't have to put $1 million, $1,000, or even $100 in each account like every week. You can, and I definitely have been there, $5 here. I was putting $5 in accounts until I could afford to do 10, and then 15, and then 25, and then I just kept going up. So start where you're at. Just because you don't have a lot doesn't mean you can't do it. Just start where you're at. All right, as you're looking at banks, you want to find out a few things before you select the bank that you want to go with. You want to look into fees, requirements, and fee waiving requirements. So that is, how much do you charge for this account every month? How do I have that fee waived? Is it minimum balance that I need to have of 2,500? Do I need to be using other products? How do I get that fee waived if you do have a fee? What are the requirements to have this account? Many banks have several different banking options for businesses. Read all of them and see which one fits you best. If you're just starting out new in business, generally their first option or possibly second, depending on what you're doing, will work out for you. And then you can just get the banking option you need as your business grows. With those fees, you want to look at monthly account fees. What are your overdraft fees? Do you offer ACH transfer, and what are those fees? ACH transfer, if you don't have a company that you're using to pay your agents like Square, Gusto, Gig Wage, there's a ton of them, Intuit. If you don't have any of that and you're paying them from your bank yourself, ACH transfer is a very easy way to do it. And usually they'll get paid next day and you'll pay a fee to your bank for using it. You will have to create your own invoices, 1099s and stuff like that. But it is an effective way to do it when you don't have a lot of agents starting out. Find out what the fee is to use that service. And then ask them, what other fees do you have? The next thing you want to find out about is introductory offer. This is one of the main things I look for. I'm bringing my business to you as a customer. What are you offering? Are you offering $200 if I put, $3,000 in the account within 3 months? What are you offering for me to come to your bank? Most of them do have some sort of introductory offer. So look for it, Google it. Which if you're looking for your bank, say if you're looking for Wells Fargo, you can Google Wells Fargo Business Checking introductory offer to see what online says, and then go ahead and call them as well and see what they say over the phone. Sometimes the offers differ between online and over the phone. All right, the next thing you want to find out about is what other services and options do they offer that you may be interested in. So you want to make sure they have mobile banking. Do they have business credit cards? How does their business credit cards work? Do they have secured credit cards for those who don't have credit enough to get an actual unsecured card? Do they have Zelle for business? Are they auto pay compatible? It says autopsy. Sorry, guys. Are they auto pay? Do they have auto pay capability? Again, the cost to do ACH transfers if you'll need that service. Do they offer payroll services? Because they may offer pay services at a discounted price. I know Bank of America was for a while with Intuit and a few others, and a lot of them do. And any other services that you may feel like you need, like how are their business loan systems set up? Do they have open lines of credit? You just want to kind of find out what other things they have so that you'll know what your banks are offering you and you know who to go to when you need it. Different banks are offering different things with different qualifications, which is another reason why it's important to have more than one bank. If one bank tells you no, you go check out your other bank. I've gotten no's from banks sometimes that I've been banking with forever, went right across to my other bank and gotten a yes, and vice versa. So it's good to have those options. The other thing you want to make sure is that the bank is FDIC insured, which will provide financial institutions with insurance for all types of deposits received. So credible banks will be FDIC insured. There's tons of banks popping up online left and right, so make sure you check for that. The other important part is, do they accept deposits from Arise Virtual Solutions? The only bank at this point that I know there's really an issue with that is still Navy Federal. But it may be worth asking because you don't want to get a bank that does not accept those deposits. Or if you do, you can't use that one for your payroll. You use it for something else. All right. Banks that I really like, I've dealt with most of these. I have not had Affinity, but I've heard really good things about them. And I know a few others that have them. So that one, and I haven't dealt with PNC Business Bank. All these other banks I have had experience with. So for your big bank option, I would recommend Chase, Wells Fargo, or Bank of America. I have Chase with one company and Wells Fargo with my other company. And although I know you guys hear all the stuff about Wells Fargo, I may get stuff in the comments about why am I banking there. I do a lot of business with Wells Fargo. I've never had an issue with them, including mortgages and stuff like that. I actually like Wells Fargo, so they're on my list. But Chase and Wells Fargo and Bank of America is pretty decent too. I'm not with them anymore, but it was simply because I got tired of the way that they were charging for certain things. So, but I do currently have Chase and Wells Fargo. So when you're doing your big banks, those are three good options. Credit unions, usually you'll have a lot of local credit unions. So look into that. Credit unions are good. You hear people talk about credit unions because usually you get better rates for interest on loans and stuff like that. Requirements are sometimes not as stringent as big banks. The bigger banks are for profit institutions, where credit unions are nonprofit institutions made to serve the customer. So that's the biggest difference there, and why you see the treatment difference, a lot of interest difference, and stuff like that. Credit unions may not offer all the things big banks are offering, though. So that's why I have both. Navy Federal, you see it's on this list. I have them with a business account. They're amazing. If you're military, you can get them. I mean, they've given credit galore to me. I have well, he's 19 now, but the minute he turned 18, they gave him credit, car finance, and all kind of stuff. And on the business side, they have a great business department that offers free help to answer business questions that I've utilized several times. So I would say if you can get Navy Federal, go ahead and get them. Just know that you can't use them for your payroll account. You can use them for any of the other 4 accounts I've named, just not your payroll. Affinity Plus, from the people that I've heard using them, really like them and give great rates as well. And the requirements for approvals are not as stringent as some others. So that's why they're on the list. I know locally in Georgia, there's Kinetic, there's Truist, there's a few others that are pretty good. So look into your local credit unions too. Other banks that I know other IBOs use and that I've heard are really good or that I've used myself is Novo, PNC, and Capital One Spark. Capital One Spark Business Bank, and I'm going to put these links below the video. I've used them. They're pretty good. But the thing with Capital One is they have a Spark business card, credit card, that most people, I won't say all, most people can get approved with that. Their requirements are like moderate to decent credit, where a lot of the other business credit cards, they want good credit. So Capital One Spark is more likely to approve you than like a Chase business card or something like that, or even a Navy Federal business card. So I do like Capital One for that. PNC Business Bank, I heard, is really good as well. Now, I have some Black-owned banks on here. One United is, I think, the largest one. Liberty Bank is decent as well. The reason why I have those on there is because when it comes to certain types of funding or programs, even federal programs that are happening, they will go to release funds to like the Black-owned banks, the local ones and stuff first when it comes to like minority funding. So if you and you don't have to be Black to bank with Black-owned banks, by the way. You can bank with one. But it's good to have one for funding opportunities and stuff like that that may not be at the big banks yet because they're hitting the Black-owned banks or minority-owned banks first. So that's why I have those 2 on the list. And don't forget to check for any incentives that may be offered when opening your account. And lastly, what you need to get started with your bank account, all of the banks are going to ask you for your business's legal name. And you're going to need to make sure when you're filling out the forms, if you're doing it online or in the bank, that everything is matching across the board. You know, I talk about that all the time, from your bank, from your business address to your business name. Any formal legal documents, it needs to match. That's your state papers when you're filing your LLCs and EINs. That's your business papers. That is credit card applications. That's all of that. Everything needs to be consistent. So your business name as it appears on your state documents. Now, this doesn't apply to necessarily IBOs, but for general business, if your business is a sole proprietor and it's in a name that's different than your company, you'll probably have to formally register your register it as a DBA for your account. You'll also need your EIN, and a lot of times they'll want to see your actual EIN paperwork that you received from the IRS when you filed it. If you don't have a copy of that and you need it, I'll put below this video the number you can call. I had to get one for one of my businesses last week. I called the number, I verified, and they faxed it right over. So it's the IRS that you'll contact. I'll put the number below this video if you need to get a copy of that for your bank. You'll need your business address, the one that you used when you filed your paperwork. If you're operating your business out of your home, consider doing a virtual address. Not required, but you may want to consider it. You'll also need your contact information, your business phone number, email address, and they'll ask you about your business website as well. The other thing they'll ask you for is proof of identity of who you are. So your license, passport, they're going to ask you for your driver's license number and your social security number as well. Being an LLC or a corporation, and if you're a partner or anything like that, you may get asked for your partnership agreement. They will ask you for your articles of organization usually, or articles of incorporation. So beware, some banks, all banks are going to ask for, like I said, 95% of this list you're going to have to provide to anyone you apply to. And a few may ask for your business license. So just make sure you have all of that documentation available. The other last important part is they'll ask you for your NAICS industry code, which tells them what type of business you are. Now, this code is extremely important, especially when dealing with financial institutions, because this is where they judge you. It's pretty much where they're judging you to determine if your company or type of industry is high risk or not. And it can affect your loan approvals, because if you're a high risk industry, they're less likely to approve you, or they're more likely to make you jump through hoops to be approved. Now, for us as IBOs, I do know that like staffing agencies and stuff like that are considered high risk industries amongst several others. And if you're in Masterclass, I have that list in there. But go ahead, you can get on Google, and whatever type of, however you're doing your business, you can just Google like call center or business services, NAICS code, and then you'll get a list of codes and what they are associated with. Google high risk industries, try to get a code that's not on that list. If it can, like, don't lie about what you're doing. But if you see something that you are doing that can help you not be on that high risk list, then take that. All right, so we have covered the 4 types of accounts you should have as an IBO, which is your payroll processing account. You need to have your business savings account. You need to have a business bills and company expenses account, and a personal, improvements, investments, and expansions account. Don't forget your personal account as well, so that you can pay yourself. Now, you can have more than that if you want, but at least have those to kind of keep organization. The next thing is 3 banks minimum. Get a big bank, a credit union, and a local bank. Establish relationships with all of them at different points in your business. You will need one or the other or all of them. So do yourself that favor and do not put all your eggs or all your money in one bank or one basket. Again, I'll go back to the banks that I like and leave it here for a second, just in case you needed it. It will be listed below. If you have any questions, feel free to put a comment below, and I will be sure to answer those questions. I'm pretty responsive here, so when you guys have questions, you can post them, and I have no problem answering them. You can also join our Arise to the Top IBO Support Network Facebook group, and a lot of questions are answered there as well. If you would like to see videos on specific topics, you can also put that below. So thank you for watching. Again, if you like my content, like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next video.